Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
This is Matt from The Razor's Edge at ArcTanGent Festival. I'm speaking to Wallowing. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad.
Very good.
Did you enjoy it up there?
Very fun.
So sweaty, but so fun. So good. Really good.
I've got to say, like, that was terrifying. I knew what to expect this time because I have seen you before. But again, it was still frightening. But
Thank you.
no, very well done. How do you find that the crowds react to you at these kinds of events?
This is the first time that we've played a festival crowd, and it's a bit of a lot of people,
Yeah.
and B, being able to see all the people is a bit of a difference. Because
Right.
normally we're kind of smog encased, and through the hoods, it's all you can see is a bit of laser, a flash of a
Right.
symbol, and it's like, I'm going to try and keep up. So,
So we're quite often so like immersed in a dense fog that like you don't often see the crowd. And this time, like obviously being in a tent, it was all like airing out and
Yeah.
but we always have a bit of a strange reaction anyways. Like songs are quite like story driven almost, so it's like not quite as linear as like here's song one, here's song two. So I mean, like we've had like some adverse reactions where it's like we finish the set in silence and people are just like stunned a little bit, and then like one person just goes, fuck, and everyone just know, okay, this is the end.
Right, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and also, I think as well, it's like we have a lot of groove in what we do, but it's not straight 4/4. It's very proggy. I wouldn't go as far as mathy in some bits as well, which can make it quite hard to follow. And when it's all over the shop and it finishes, suddenly it's like, oh, that's that. Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
So-
there's a lot of passages which is just kind of like free time and rhythmless, and
Yes.
and your songs are kind of like there's different sections, and it's I think for the uninitiated it's like, wow, what am I watching?
I think a lot of people are like, oh, what the fuck is this? But also, there's always, now thankfully we're at the point as well, is people do know us, or at least some people, so it's really nice to see familiar faces in the crowd and see people nodding along and shouting along. And one of the benefits, especially like today, of being able to look out and see everyone is you're seeing everyone's ridiculous stank faces when the really fucking heavy bit hits, and it's like, nice, okay, good. So
I do think the name of Wallowing, especially since the last record, it seems to have picked up a little bit, not just presumably in the south where you've come from, but across the whole of the UK, which must be really nice. How's working with Church Road been?
It's been lovely. Like I'd have zero complaints. Like just they've been so on board with everything. Like they like always make an effort. Like if they're in the area, come see us, say hey, check in. Like and like they're just so up for all the bonkers stuff that we're like doing. Like we're like we want to do space tapes and comics and these like little action figure diddly dids and they're just like absolutely, let's go. And I think that's just real nice. Like
I think when it was time for the second album and looking at different labels, and obviously Planet Lost came out on Sludge Lord, amazing, but then just for the next step as well, a couple of people got in contact, and Church Road at the end seemed like the obvious choice. We want to do this, we want to do that, and they were like, that sounds amazing, we're really down for that. And in our minds as well, they're also artists, they're doing they do a lot of stuff, they know what it's like and they know what you need, and so it's not like, oh, here's a big label who puts releases out and that's that. It's okay, these guys really get what's going on and can really sympathise and empathise with what we want to do, which is a really big part of why we went with them and haven't really looked back since, to be honest.
I don't know Justine and the Employed to Serve guys myself, but all the other artists who are on the label, you can tell it's not run like a business. It's supposed to be about putting out good alternative.
That Church Road family really is.
They really have their finger on the pulse of things, and like I say, it's just a really hard lineup, and you can't really deny that there's some good bands on there.
No, for sure. How much of what you do on stage or on record is improvised with how the songs are written?
It's kind of a bit kind of flexible, but there's a whole load of backbone in there. So it's like, some of the noise breaks it can be like just I think I need to like knock myself back in tune or something, and like so there'll be bits where like the movement's flowing, and you're just like, okay, we'll just stop this section for a brief bit, like despite the fact we're like completely cloaked in this like black hat like spacesuit essentially, there's a lot of communication between us, and it's really like a bit of an ordeal like learning that language. So like we all kind of know when one another needs to like step back and like let those sections like breathe a bit, or forge on and go.
It's very reactive, and it's less improvised and here's the improv section. It's more, I think the term's rubato. It's like free time. It's like it is without structure, but there is still what we're doing is planned in it mostly. There is a few improv sections, especially for noise and vocals, and near the end and some ridiculous breaks, but most of the time it is we know what we're doing with it, and it's chaos, but it's controlled chaos and it's directed chaos as well. Which
but who would you consider to be like the major influences on what you guys do, either individually or as a band?
I guess Rush.
I mean, as a band, like Rush is definitely probably one of our big, like 2112, just like that hits home for like me and the other like the guitarist. So that's like most of the instrumentation, and then like just a lot of like old school prog. Like it's quite like sectional and like a bit experimental and like out there and story driven.
Yeah,
lots of concepts. But then we also just bloody love a good heavy riff. So.
A lot of those like early metallic, mathy, hardcore stuff as well is a really big thing for lots of us. Obviously some death metal, vocals wise, it really depends. Like this is a really good band in both of the vocalists. We can both just absolutely push the limits of what we're doing in every style that we want, so long as it fits. And we love drone and we love black metal, and personally for me, vocal wise, its style starts with like Regana and stuff and then moves into what actually fits, but then it's about finding your own voice and picking which style works for that section as well. You have those bands you sharp and it's like, it's the same vocal delivery, it's the same guitar tone for 45 minutes and that's it, and that's what they do, which is cool, but also what we do is so expansive that it's why wouldn't we want to dip into every solid planet that we can really make available to ourselves.
It is just a big excuse to be like, I love death metal riffs, I love doom riffs, I love crusty punk riffs and DB. Like, let's just smash it all together and fucking go.
I think if you look at all of the various bands we've all been in or projects we've got at the moment, you probably cover like everything heavy in every aspect as well, which kind of just goes to show that's where all that influence comes from.
As well as being here at ArcTanGent, you've also graced a Waterstones bookshop. How did that
Twice.
Right, I wasn't aware it was twice. How did that come from idea to reality? I'm really interested.
So the first time we were asked by it was basically an author and also a fellow like musician, Tom Coles from Sales. So he basically released a book on death metal, and he was having
the Bloomsbury 33.5 RPM series.
There you go. He basically was like, I'm having this book release in a Waterstones in Bristol. I want to put a band on. Like, it's like a bit of a thing. So there was like a talk, then there was like a bit of like a talk with like a noise set, which we provided, like just like the guitarist and noise board essentially that we use. Suitless, just like to accompany like our friend Dave Berg, who's got a doctorate in metal, talk about metal. Cool. So it was very fun. Like, obviously we like headed up the evening with like playing in like a corner. It's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, and the fact that the first time it was this book release, then the second one, the big one, which is the one that most people are aware of, I guess, including yourself. And that was, they were putting on a spooky fair, essentially, with lots of cool spooky vendors and spooky stuff. And the manager for the Bristol Waterstones, who is phenomenal, by the way, just like the nicest
loveliest person, like
loveliest,
so chill,
most accommodating, also cool enough to be like, we're putting on this thing, do you want to come back and do another show? And we're like, yes. Can we bring Torport, the heaviest band in Bristol, with us?
Sure, yeah.
And in which case everyone said yes. Torpor showed up, smashed it, we showed up, had a ridiculous time, and it was just like one of the best gigs ever, to be honest.
Absolutely, shout out to Torpor, because they slay every time like I see them. And, you know, like I say, like even in that second one, I blew up my bass head, and just immediately they're like, here you go. And
They've got a new album coming out on Human Worth, I believe it is, and they're excellent. So
I think they just released a video for it. Like,
yes.
And yeah, good friend of ours, Ollie Melville, shot that as well, so go give him a shout.
Awesome.
Many shout outs.
There's a lot of talk at the moment for bands that singles and EPs seem to be the way forward in an age where the average music listener, not necessarily the listener here, but the average listener has a lower attention span for long form releases. So with that in mind, could the next Wallowing release be an EP?
In the nicest possible way, if long attention span is something that you kind of struggle with in music, Wallowing is probably not the band for you, because the albums are designed to listen through start to finish, 45 minutes, there's no breaks.
Other than to flip the album, that's really like the only like you know, unless we have a section which is a bit more laid back, like that's your reprieve.
It's like we got the 5-minute drone section on like the start of one of the tracks. Half of it is guitar drone. It's in the nicest way. If that's not for you, that's cool. We do offer other things.
We take it into consideration. Like with Earth Reaper, we had Flesh and Steel is probably like one of the shortest tracks on it. And again, if you don't know us, like they're both meant to be like listened to together, full length, but they're also, you can pick them up standalone and probably enjoy them as well. Like, so
we have our faster parts, our harder parts, but that's not all we do as well. We love playing across the whole spectrum of sound.
Yeah.
And are there any other cities or venues or events such as ArcTanGent or such as Waterstones Bristol that you really enjoy playing?
We always love going to Hull. Whenever we tour, we have a stop off in Hull.
Right,
There's like a specific campanile we go to.
So, oh my god, the campanile. There's one sign outside for the parking that is kind of all the parking bits are flaked off, and it literally looks like a horror sign for parking.
Right.
And when you say to people where you're staying, the campanile, they're like, oh, that one. Which,
it's got shutters on the front.
Glass doors on each room.
Doors, you know.
It's like we said, it's one person. I swear people used to take the ladies of the night. Excellent.
Right.
That's where we're staying.
Okay.
But no, it's Hull's always fucking great. But also, in terms of the future, we've been out to Europe once. Anything more in Europe, incredible. Like, festival stuff is really sick, but it's pretty new for us as well. Played Desert Fest last year, which is sick. Hopefully it'd be great to go back and just do as much as we can.
I'm always amazed in Europe how they provide catering, like actual artist catering.
Like we were treated so nicely. We went out to, was it Tales of Wrath?
Yeah, Tales of Wrath, promoted by Luca as well.
What a legend that man is. But they put on a stonking show.
The vocalist in Grav Pearl does stuff with Zelanada, puts on Tales of Wrath and Tales of Doom.
Oh, nice.
Does lots of promotion stuff in Switzerland, and it's just organised the first anti-fascist black metal network gathering as well.
Cool.
The best dude.
Yeah. No, I've played abroad 3 times. It's always like, why don't we just live out here?
Why don't we just do this all the time? Because it's
if money was no object, then obviously. But no, that's what I like about those other festivals.
Looked after.
And have you done any as punters this year? Any festivals?
This is my first festival of the year, to be honest.
Right, okay.
And I'm playing it, which is great.
Yeah, I was knocking around at Desert Fest. That was half work, half leisure as well.
Yeah, Desert Fest was fun this year.
Yeah.
Did you see Corrosion Conformity?
I did see Corrosion Conformity, who are excellent. I just had a really big time seeing everyone, and Boris, some really big standout.
Yes.
Holly going up and doing some belly dancing. And
that was a real treat. That was a real treat, Boris, at the Roundhouse.
Holly came up, did some belly dancing with them, improvised, which is incredible, and just really cool to see. They were great. So
yeah, they really were. Guys, I really just want to thank you for your time and the excellent performance. It's been so nice to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, this has been Wallowing at ArcTanGent Festival for the Razor's Edge.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.